Guys, welcome to Black Scout Survival Late Night Live, man. Before we get started tonight, I want to take a second to honor every one of you who have worn the uniform. From all of us here at Black Scout Survival, thank you. You made sacrifices most people will never understand. You carried the weight, you bled, you buried brothers, and you came home to a country that sometimes doesn't even remember what that means. And we see you always. But to be honest, I don't even know if it's Veterans Day anymore, because apparently it's now something known as Victory Day. Yeah, President Trump just stood in Arlington National Cemetery, sacred ground, and rebranded the day as Victory Day. Listen to the man.
Today is not only Veterans Day, but it's my proclamation that we are now going to be saying and calling Victory Day for World War I. Victory Day. You know, I was recently at an event and I saw France was celebrating Victory Day, but we didn't. And I saw France was celebrating another Victory Day for World War II. And other countries were celebrating. They were all celebrating. We're the one that won the wars. And I said, from now on, we're going to say Victory Day for World War I and World War II. And we could do for plenty of other wars, but we'll start with those.
So should we follow France at this point? I mean, now listen, I get the intent. We should celebrate American victories, but Veterans Day wasn't about winning wars. It was about those who fought them, every one of them, the ones who came home and the ones who didn't, right? Turning into Victory Day cheapens that. You want to make a Victory Day for World War I, fine. Make one for World War II too. Sure, but don't hijack the day that belongs to every man and woman who ever put on the uniform and turn it into a victory parade. Because a lot of us didn't come home feeling victorious. We came home missing pieces of ourselves. And I think it's wild to me that would even come out. Like I don't know. I assume that being the president, he probably ran this by other people within his cabinet. Pete Hegseth, I'm sure, would not be cool with that. I don't believe. Or did he just spin this off at the tip of his tongue during this? You know, I'm not happy about that. I don't like it. I just don't like even the idea of even mentioning that. If you want a Victory Day, make it on another day. Make one for every war. Make a holiday for every war. What about Vietnam? I mean, I don't know. I mean, some of these weren't technical victories, and that's nothing to do with the men and women that fought in those theaters. The problem was the politicians, right? And you know, you have veterans. To me, Veterans Day is so important because it's not even about people thanking you for your service, but when you go to Golden Corral and you see all the other brothers and sisters from different services, maybe the same service, and you get to talk, shoot the breeze with them, reconnect, feel that brotherhood. Because if we look at the big picture, I know this is something that I felt. Oh, you know, when you're serving in the military, you have a greater sense of purpose in life. And then whenever you get out, you kind of lose that purpose. You lose that camaraderie, that brotherhood. You can't find it out, you know, working in a factory somewhere. You can't find it working in an office somewhere. You're not going to find that sense of brotherhood. And so essentially you lose completely your identity, because this was your identity. And that's not the fault of you. That's what they indoctrinate into us, is this is now our new identity. Especially, I know in the Marine Corps, you get in there, you lose all identity of yourself. You are now a Marine. Your past life doesn't exist anymore. Okay, they really focus on that in the beginning stages of training. And I get the reason why, because you want the old self dies. They need to make someone new. Okay, you get out, you lose that camaraderie. So every Veterans Day, man, to be honest, this is my favorite time of the season. It really is. The Marine Corps birthday and then Veterans Day. I love it because I love veterans. Like, I truly do. I love veterans. I love to be around them. I feel like I'm at home when I'm sitting around talking to other veterans, because we can talk about the same stories, you know. I've been quite busy lately. I hadn't been able to make the Marine Corps get-togethers on the Marine Corps birthday, and I tell you, it's sad because I hadn't been able to. But I just know when I would go to those, I would feel like I was home again. Like these people understand me better than my family, right? And to kind of tarnish that by washing it with another day, yeah, it pissed me off a little while, right? Now, speaking of the Marine Corps birthday yesterday, happy birthday, Marines. While that's going on, the Marine Corps celebrating his birthday, the White House is hosting a man named, let me post this picture up, Abu Muhammad al-Jilani, a former ISIS commander who fought alongside militants that killed Americans in Iraq. Let that sink in. This man probably killed Americans himself. Here's a wanted poster from 2017 by the State Department. Stop the terrorists. Now, he changed his name, okay? They call him President Ahmad al-Shari now because apparently if you, trim your beard a little, buzz your head, trade in your camo and head wrap for a suit and say the right words, Washington will roll out the red carpet, okay? Man, even Zero Hedge, who is normally cheers Trump's foreign policy, couldn't even stomach this one. Imagine on the Marine Corps birthday, this guy may have taken Marines' lives, okay? Yeah, I'm sorry. This one hits a little different, doesn't it? And the Victory Day thing, these things are hitting different. This guy here. Because the military, y'all fought guys like that. You buried your brothers because men like that. And now they're shaking hands in the Oval Office while Gold Star families are still visiting graves. You tell me how that makes sense. You tell me how that makes, I don't understand. I mean, they should have did a snatch and grab operation as soon as that guy stepped foot in U.S. soil. Took him to a black site, right? If I was in charge, if I was the president of the United States, that dude had been in a black site getting the full treatment, if you catch my drift. He'd be getting the full one. Never to be seen again. Now, while the economy is falling apart, I told you yesterday, I think it was yesterday or the day before, the 50-year home loan, the eternal leash to the Wells Fargo. Now Trump is floating 15-year car loans. Now, because, yeah, I had to say what, but because Americans are so buried in debt that the only way to keep the system alive is to stretch the lease long enough that no one notices their change. Next thing you're going to have is 300-year mortgages. You're going to be passing it down to the next generation. Your grandkids are going to be paying the same mortgage. Think about it. You're signing up for a car note that'll outlive the damn vehicle, right? How many vehicles last 15 years? That's not prosperity, man. That is a economic hospice care is what that is. It's wild. Now, alongside that is that Trump has asked about the 600,000 Chinese students coming here. We've been pissed about that. We've been pissed about all this, right? And the thing is, let me stop for a second, because a lot of guys get upset about me being critical. It's because I'm not a sheep. I'm not in a cult, and I'm for American citizens. I'm definitely for veterans, and I'm definitely for America and Americans. Okay, that is what I'm for. And anything that deviates from that, I don't care who it is. I don't care who it is. I don't care if it's the president, my mama. I don't care. I'm going to have a problem, and I'm going to say something about it. You know, yesterday I had Mark Lynch on, who's running against Lindsey Graham. And why that video got so little views, I don't know, because it was a great interview. Why people, they say, what can we do? What can we do? Find the right people, right? I like the guy. If you listen to him, he says, and he lives by what he says, you know. But the thing is during the thing, he talked about seeing the Oath Keepers, seeing the J6 people, seeing Enrique, and telling them we should have went and got him out. As Americans, we should have. And how many people running for Congress is going to say something like that? Nobody. Okay. Trump is backing the swamp creature. And I asked Mark Lynch about that, and he says that, well, he needs to vote, you know. And I get what Mark is saying. And Mark, even with the discrepancies we see in Donald Trump, says he's the best president that we've had. And he's probably right, right? But what that means is that definitely no one's come to save you, because even the best guy that we voted for can't change anything. He's still playing along with the damn swamp. So that means nobody after this is going to be any better. If you catch what I'm saying. I don't worship any man. I don't worship men. I don't. I'm not a fanboy of anybody. I don't ask people to be fanboys of me, right? I'm just a man. Man, I go to work just like you. I do the same things you do every day, right? Take out the trash. I do. So to think that someone's going to save you is the premise of what I have pushed to do. I want to awaken people. Though no matter the best guy, he still can't even do it. Kash Patel taught the talk. You see what he's doing now. So none of these people, even the people who say, and that's the thing, is that unless we get the right people in, real strong people that don't need the money. That's the thing. A lot of these people want the money. Trump's a wealthy man. He's not taking a paycheck, but his family has gotten more wealth in these past 11 months than ever. So yeah, he's not taking a paycheck because he doesn't need it. You think Lindsey Graham, you go look up how much his net worth is, you think that's accurate? Hell no. It's because he's got trust. He's got shell companies, just like all these politicians do. They do that to hide their money. They go in to become a politician broke, and they come out millionaires. Tell me how that's serving the people. Okay, so anyway, let's get back to Trump with this 600,000 Chinese, because Laura Ingraham, and I know they don't, get along, but she's kind of grilling him on this. I just want to hear what he has to say.
About this idea of hundreds of thousands of foreign students in the United States. We have about 350,000 Chinese. One point during COVID, you were going to, push to, get them out, but that was pulled back. You've said as many as 600,000 Chinese students could come to the United States. Why, sir, is that a pro-MAGA position when so many American kids want to go to school and there are places not for them, and these universities are getting rich off Chinese money?
Sure. Never said about China, but we do have a lot of people coming in from China. We always have, China and other countries. We also have a massive system of colleges and universities. And if we were to cut that in half, which perhaps makes some people happy, you would have half the colleges in the United States go out of business.
So what?
Well, I think that's a big deal.
Are they fans?
You would have the
fans of the United States?
Yeah, but you would have, as you know.
I'm in agreement with her. Screw the colleges. I don't care. If you can't fund it, you shouldn't survive.
Historically, black colleges and universities would all be out of business.
And then Trump's bringing up historical black colleges. They're not taking Chinese students.
You would have a system of
he doesn't even know what he's talking about here.
Colleges and universities would
so
go
we're
down
dependent on China to keep our university system going?
But I think it's good to have. I actually think it's good to have outside countries. Look, I want to be able to get along with the world.
They're not the French. They're the Chinese. They spy on us. They steal our intellectual property.
What, do you think the French are better?
Better than China, my man.
Yeah.
Really? I don't know. I'll tell you.
I mean, I don't really care for France either, but they are our ally. China's our known enemy.
I'm not so sure. We've had a lot of problems with the French, where we get taxed very unfairly on our technology.
And we do with China, and China steals our technology as well.
They put 25% taxes on American products. Look, assuming everyone treats us badly, because that's the way I am, but we take in trillions.
And he's right about that. Everybody does treat us badly because of poor international policy. The geopolitics is why.
Of dollars from students. The students pay more than double when they come in from most foreign countries. I want to see.
And they get a lot of scholarships, tax money. USAID, ever heard of that one?
Our school system thrive. But at the same time, I know you and I disagree.
Yeah.
We're never going to agree on
No.
it, but that's okay. And it's not that I want them, but I view it as a business. We have millions and millions of people. Also, I want to get along.
I don't care for colleges to be viewed as a business, dude. Colleges, they are pushing all kinds of nonsense. They've gotten so far away from curriculum. Okay, you go to college. I met college graduates that absolutely know nothing. I went to a community college where I actually learned things, but most of these universities fill you with feminism and all this other bullshit, and they charge you astronomical prices. It's not even affordable. A kid like me had to go in the Marine Corps, man. I had no choice. I wasn't growing up in the sticks out here and could afford a college. The only way I could was to go serve in the military. And that wasn't the reason why I joined. Hell, I wasn't even going to use the GI Bill. I just decided one day, man, I need to do something, right? Because nobody wanted to give me a job.
With countries if possible. You know, people are shocked. Remember Hillary Clinton said, we'll be in a war. I stopped 8 wars in the last 9 months. I don't want to be in wars. If I am in a war, we're going to win the thing fast and it'll be violent. But you know what? I don't want to be in wars. But one thing, you don't want to cut half of the people, half of the students from all over the world that are coming into our country, destroy our entire university and college system. I don't want to do that.
I wouldn't lose any.
And don't forget, MAGA was my idea. MAGA was nobody else's idea.
Man, you know what, dude? Keep Juan out there roofing and keep Jose this cutting lawns. The thing is you're bringing in Chinese, a known enemy. Every Chinese citizen has an obligation to be a spy for the Chinese government. Don't bring them in here. And this is where this bothers me and why I make the joke about the roofer and the landscaper, because it's next clip. The next clip is we'll bring in people. We just don't want any guys here trying to do the odd jobs. Listen.
Have to talk about it, Laura.
And does that mean the H-1B visa thing will not be a big priority for your administration? Because if you want to raise wages for American workers, you can't flood the country with tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of foreign workers.
You also do have to bring in talent. When
we have plenty of talented people here.
No, you don't.
We don't have talent.
We don't have talent here. We don't have talent. Wow.
No, you don't have certain talents, and people have to learn. You can't take people off an unemployment line and say, I'm going to put you into a factory.
Well, we should. That's what we should be doing. We should be getting unemployed Americans jobs. Like I just said a moment ago, I got out of the Marine Corps. I could not get a job. Months and months and months. I've got a kid. I'm trying to support. Months and months and months trying to survive. Couldn't get a job. We have veterans here unemployed. Might be some of you watching right now. We don't have employed people to employ.
Factory, we're going to make missiles, or I'm going to put.
How did we ever do it before?
And that's an extreme.
I'll give you an example. In Georgia, they raided because they wanted illegal immigrants out. They had people from South Korea that made batteries all their lives. You know, making batteries are very complicated. It's not an easy thing and very dangerous. A lot of explosions, a lot of problems.
So what he's saying now is a battery factory. And you probably remember this. I actually talked about it on a video. A battery factory. Factories like that do not need some technological genius. You're working on a production line. So the 500 Koreans he's saying is needed. Is needed. You can pay them less, right? You could pay an American worker much more money to do it. They're making a ton of money on these batteries. Trust me, go buy some. The overhead cost is nothing to them at this large scale of manufacturing. But their labor's way down, and they're still going to charge the same price. They're charging the price of an American worker whenever they're outsourcing the labor.
They had like 500 or 600 people, early stages, to make batteries and to teach people how to do it.
You don't need a bunch of people. You don't need 500 people to teach. Trust me, I've worked in the industries. You don't need it. You need a trainer with a lot of maybe 20 to 50 guys he's in charge of. Have maybe, if you have 500 workers, you might need 30 trainers.
Well, they wanted them to get out of the country. You're going to need that, Laura. I mean, I know you and I disagree on this. You can't just say a country's coming in, going to invest $10 billion to build a plant, and going to take people off an unemployment line who haven't worked in 5 years, and they're going to start making missiles. It doesn't work.
Missiles is an extreme. These H-1B visas, what they'll be doing, they'll be working in the technological fields. They'll be working in IT. One big company, General Electric, has like pretty much outsourced all of their IT from American workers to Indian labor. And you're seeing that across the board. It's blowing my mind. How's this America first? Again, I ask you. But they want, for optics, Tom Homan's going to go get up the landscaper stuff so me and you can go do landscaping and roofing. But they'll go take the jobs that we could make a lot more money on the production lines, right? Because that doesn't hurt as bad as his buddies that are these CEOs of these large corporations that need the cheap labor. They don't want to pay the American worker. And at the same time, while this is working together, we got Xi Jinping, China's president, saying the world can move on without America. Now, he just met with Donald Trump, and Trump said they were best buddies. And he just posted this. He's not wrong to say it. He's saying the world can move on without the United States. 100 years ago, Britain was the dominated global commerce, commanding more than 20% of the world's wealth. 200 years ago, France, had Europe's stage. Its armies were feared, culture envied. Napoleon declared himself an immortal. 400 years ago, the Spanish crown reigned from Manila to Mexico. Each empire proclaimed its indispensable. Each was ultimately eclipsed. Power wanes, influence migrates, and legitimacy dies the moment it is assumed rather than earned. Should America forfeit the world's respect, it will discover what every fallen empire has learned too late. The world moves on always. And trust me, we are heading that direction. We are moving into the fallen empire. He's not wrong to say that. He's testing us. He's watching a country that's divided that he helped do, and we're going to bring his students here to help divide more. People are doped up, soft, broke, distracted by gender parades, right? Or you can't get a job because the visas. You're clapping for Enrique getting snatched up, working in the field, okay? While Beijing is building fleets, buying Africa, owns half of the farmland, or of our farmland, through shell companies. He's signaling to the world that America's reign is ending. And he's saying it with a smirk because he knows our politicians are too busy chasing polls to notice. They're doing it for popularity contests. Everything that you're seeing now is all about theatrics. Oh, we're doing this. We're doing this. The economy is the best it's ever. Gas is down, lower than it's ever been. But you go to the pump and say, where is it? Not here. Well, it must be somewhere else. Maybe just not here yet. Maybe grocery prices are down the road. Not here in this. These are all theatrics. Oh, we're going to call this Department of War. Trying to undo the mess that the Democrats had done to the military for years with DEI and the gender nonsense. Do you think you can fix that overnight? Hell no, you can't. But both sides are playing into this thing. It's all a popularity contest, right? Who's the most woke? Who's the most anti-woke? And so on. The harsh truth is, we might be watching the sunset on our empire, just like Rome, just like Britain, and just like every arrogant superpower that thought the world couldn't live without them. China, if you don't know, is advancing on AI more than we are. And what that means is it's not like your grok. They're using it for robotics. They're using it for drone technology. But all these countries said the same thing, that they were the world couldn't live without them, and the world moved on. But I'll say this, the warrior class never disappears. Empires rise and fall, but men like you, women like you, disciplined, dangerous, self-reliant, you're the ones who carry the fire through the dark. And that's why I do what I do here. That's why Black Scout Survival exists, to be honest. I saw someone say the other day, talking about, you know, some of the guys, the tribe members, good guys, and they're like, you know, he talking about my suppression. There's no way I can survive off this because I don't. I work for a living. I really do. You know, I do this because I have a passion for it. I have a passion for making gear. Okay, that's my main mission in life, is to equip people and sharpen the mindset, sharpen your body, educate you. That's why I write these books and stuff. That's really, it's my passion to do some kind of change to the world. I want to know that whenever I died, I did everything I could possibly to change course, to help as many people as I could. And speaking of staying sharp, we got a new product I'm super excited about from Black Forest Supplements. And this is the thing, I sell supplements, okay? And I'm promoting another supplement company. That's how much I believe in this, okay? They just dropped something so incredible, the new longevity coffee mix. And this is not your typical gas station coffee hit, okay? It's built on NMN, which I've talked about taking for years now, nicotinamide mononucleotide. It's the same molecule used in studies at Harvard that reverse artificial stiffness in aging cells, literally making old arteries act young again, down to a cellular level, okay? So you see people that take it and they start reverse aging. It's not just anti-aging, like stopping aging. It reverse ages, right? It literally made old cells act young again. It's also loaded with something called glutathione. This is a major antioxidant that detoxifies your liver, okay? Tremendous for anti-aging. It also helps somewhat with weight loss. It's got vitamin D3 and K2. Now that combo I have been taking for quite some time now. I was unfamiliar with a guy I follow was talking about it one day. I started researching it, and I started taking it and I take a lot of these things. This is the thing I'm taking. Like, this is 10 different bottles sitting on your counter into one coffee, okay? And I love my coffee. But the D3 and K2 together removes calcium from your arteries and pushes it to the bone. This is extremely important because your instead of your arteries getting stiff as you age, right, by calcium or getting blockages, it pushes it to your bones to make you stronger, because as you age, your bones are going to deteriorate. It also has something known as TMG for fat metabolism, okay, and essentially makes you lose weight, okay, especially around your midsection, the visceral fat, right, that messes you up. It also has magnesium glycinate, okay, for muscle recovery. So tremendous. I take all these different things, but now it's in a coffee, one scoop, right? That's not 10 bottles on the counter. I got a clip here from Dr. David Sinclair. I'm sure you probably know him if you're in the health fitness space. I follow his work. He's an intelligent guy. And this is what he has to say.
I know that look freakishly and unusually young for their age that I have met in, say, the last 36 months. I cannot get over how many of them have told me that I'm on NAD and I'm on metformin. And I'm talking about everywhere from a gym to a golf course to a business meeting. And I'm talking about visually, shockingly looking young people, mainly people in their 50s that look like they could be in their 30s or early 40s to me. So when you say NAD, do you believe in the IV therapy? Do you believe in the stuff you can inject with subcutaneously? Or are you speaking specifically about this precursor that you were referencing?
Well, what I believe doesn't so much matter, but the scientific evidence points to taking a supplement every day, a gram of NMN, which is this precursor, stands for nicotinamide mononucleotide for the aficionados. Just swallowing one of those, or 1,000 milligrams, is enough to double your NAD.
To double your NAD. Now, this is the thing. The studies that I read from Harvard years ago, I talked about this on videos long ago if you've been following me, is that the NAD that people take subcutaneously, like with an insulin needle, it is not as effective as taking in orally, okay? Because it's a precursor. It makes your body start producing it. So what Black Forest has done is put this into real coffee, real science. So 1 cup that keeps your body younger from the inside out. Now, the big thing is because it's Veterans Day, the next 40 hours, they're running a launch deal, 50% off. And that's it. After that, it's gone. Go hit my link below and go get it. Ditch the $7 soy latte from Starbucks and grab something that actually gives your body the fuel it needs and brings your aging back in time, like Back to the Future. Okay. So hit that link below. But before I roll out again, yesterday I had Mark Lynch on for the Marine Corps birthday, and he's running against Lindsey Graham, the guy who's been feeding the DC swamp for decades. If you say you care about change, go watch that interview. Because the truth is, most people talk about fighting back, but when it's time to act, they go silent. That's how we lose. This dude took out his retirement, his complete retirement, and put it in to run. He's taking his own money to run. Okay. And that's the type of people we need, again, being hard to kill and knowing, because like in the video yesterday, I talk a lot about knowing what's the truth, what's really going on, the laws, the things that affect you, right? And again, I'm just like you, man. I was a guy who worked out, worked out alone in a cold garage, read books while everybody else was out drinking, and I built myself piece by piece. No one gave me shit. No one handed me confidence or courage, man. I had to build it, and so can you. You don't need applause. You don't need validation. You just need purpose. And when everything around you starts to fall, you will still be standing because you were trained for this. You live for this. And you are the people that will save this country. With that, stay frosty, stay strapped, stay dangerous. Happy Veterans Day. Thank you for your service. Black Scout out.